it's Carolyn Sook here with C6 Stitch, and today is Saturday, May 6th, 2023. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. I'm so glad that you are here spending part of your day or your evening with me. I just got out of the shower, so my hair is still a little damp. Luckily, it dries very quickly because I have very fine hair. So, thanks, Mom and Dad. This week, again, was very busy with grading. I am almost done with grading, not quite. I just have some final papers, seven final papers left to read. And then I will be officially done with the semester, and I will have a week to prepare for my summer class. So it's all good. It is all good, but it feels good to be at this point in the semester. Today is actually graduation. Excuse me. So I will be going to graduation. So I probably won't be able to do a whole lot of editing on this because I do have to leave pretty quickly to go to graduation, which should be super fun. And happy Coronation Day to those who celebrate. A lot of people are very excited in the U.S. So I hope to catch some of that. It aired at, I think it was 2 a.m. my time, which is about the time I was going to bed. So I was not able to watch it, but I think they're going to replay it tonight. So I hope to catch at least some of it tonight after graduation. I am so sorry. I don't know why I'm so yawny. It is not you. It is not that you are boring. It is 100% me. I did go see a musical this week. A friend of mine called me up and had an extra ticket. And so we went to go see Come From Away, which is a story about the town in Newfoundland that took in 7,000 people when 9/11 happened, and they grounded all flights. And flights just kind of had to land wherever they could. And so this small town in Newfoundland took in 7,000 people, which almost doubled their population. So it was a story about that. I thought it was really good. The music and the acting I thought was very, very good. So that was fun. Highly recommend if you are into the theater at all. I think that's all my updates from this week. It's been a busy week. Okay, so we are in May already. And so I have some April stats for you. I got a total of 78 hours of stitching time in April, which is fine. Not the best, not the worst. How about that? I started the month with 54 whips, and I ended the month with 54 whips. So that's good, right? I did have one new start, which was the Madame Lafie Garden Sweetness for the Madame Lafie Sal that we are doing. It's ongoing, so start along, I guess, is what we call it now. But I had one finish, which was the stained glass window, which you all left the loveliest of comments last week. So thank you all for your encouragement and excitement about me finishing that piece. So that was essentially a wash. So I am still at 54 whips starting into May. So there you go. I did have a couple of really great questions in the comment section. So Christy asked, how do you press your pieces? Okay, so my pieces, I never use water in my iron. I usually put it on the linen setting or maybe the cotton setting, but I don't use any steam or water. If you have a hand-dyed piece of fabric or over-dyed threads, they can bleed. The fabric could get stained if you get water on it. So I just don't ever use that, no matter what kind of fabric I'm using. I don't use Best Press or anything like that. I just use an iron on the whatever setting is appropriate for whatever it is that I'm ironing. And I put the stitching, like the right side, face down. I put a towel. So I have my ironing board, and then I put a towel down, like kind of as like a buffer, and then I put my stitched piece face down on that towel, and I only iron from the back side. I know in quilting, sometimes if you iron on the front, it can leave a shine. I'm not sure if it does that with cross-stitch fabric, but I always just iron it from the back side. And I just carefully go over it, and sometimes you might need to go over it quite a bit, especially with some linens. I know it's kind of hard to get some of those wrinkles out, especially without any spritz or steam or best press or anything like that. But that's how I do it. And then when it is when your piece is laced or pulled taut, that should take out some of the wrinkles too. If you have like a really stubborn one, I mean, don't totally count on that, but sometimes it can come out when you're backing the piece and you're kind of stretching it. Some of the wrinkles will come out that way. So that's how I do it. I think the key is being really careful with water. Like even DMC is color fast, so it should be fine, but I still just err on the side of caution, and I don't. But many people have used steam or best press and have been perfectly fine. So I know a lot of people wash their HADEs once they're finished because they're DMC, and they are perfectly fine. And I may, if I ever finish a HADE, I may end up having to wash it as well because it does, I mean, those you're working on for a very long time. But I put a towel down and I kind of, I don't know, fold it over a few times. And that just kind of helps the stitches stay a little fluffier than if you were putting them directly onto the ironing board where they would get smushed down. So, Christy, I hope that answers your question. That's basically how I do it. Andy had a question about retreats, and I love this question. It does come up every once in a while. We haven't talked about it in a long time, but Andy said that I'd love to go to a retreat one day. I'm kind of nervous because I don't know anybody, and also how do you find retreats, which I think is a great question. First of all, in my experience, cross-stitchers are very nice and very welcoming for the most part. So if you don't know anybody going to a retreat, do not let that stop you. You will make friends. You can just say, hey, I'm alone. I don't know anybody. Can I sit at your table? And you will walk out with a bunch of new friends. So they are very welcoming. I think a lot of cross-stitchers are introverts. So if you feel like, oh, I'm an introvert, a lot of cross-stitchers are introverts. And you already have something to talk about, something in common to talk about. Start talking about your stitching. What are you working on? Oh, can I see that piece? Oh, that's a beautiful piece. Those are your lead-ins to start a conversation if you're more of an introvert or you don't like talking to people a whole lot. Those are your ins, right? So there's that aspect. How do you find retreats? I remember a long time ago, somebody was keeping a list, and I can't remember who that is. If you know, please leave it in the comments below. Somebody who was keeping a list of like all the retreats. Really, you find out about them, one, through Flosstubes. So like I'm going to Stitching in the Wild Garon, which I found out by watching Garon Flosstube, right? Your local needle workshop or whatever you consider to be your local needle workshop. I know not everybody has one. Sign up for their newsletters. You will hear about the retreats through their newsletters. Any stitching shop that you say, well, that's driving distance, I could go there for a retreat, sign up for their newsletters. They will release that information in their newsletters or follow them on Facebook or whatever it is. And I think that's another good way to find out about, especially some of the smaller retreats that you don't necessarily hear about on Flosstube, but still very much happen. So I hope that helps. If you have any other tips on where you find out about retreats, again, leave them down below. I think this is a really important question. It does come up once in a while, like I said. And I think that's good because there's always new people coming in who want to know, well, where do you learn about these retreats? And also, a lot of retreats do fill up. So if you plan to go, you really do have to sign up like right away, I think. At least all the retreats I've gone to, you kind of have to sign up right away. So let me know your thoughts down below about where you find out about retreats. So I would say your LNS is the best place, or whatever you consider your LNS, or, again, anything that's wherever you would be willing to travel. Like, oh, this is driving distance, so I can travel for a weekend retreat or something. I know Keepsakes offers, I don't know, I think they do StitchCon, which is the big one that a lot of people know about, but they do other smaller ones. I can't remember the name. So like if you're in Ohio or nearby Ohio, that might be one to take a look at and sign up for their newsletter. So, Andy, I hope that helps. Okay, let's get into whips. Oh, I forgot to say, I am downstairs. As you can see, there is no paint samples on the wall anymore because we painted the walls. This is what Pearly White by Sherwin-Williams looks like. It is so fresh. I love it. I am downstairs because my craft room table is full of stuff that I am preparing for stitching in the wild. So that is why I'm downstairs today. Okay, let's get into the stitching now. So this week I worked on early bird bouquets, which a lot of you are really liking. It's really fun. This one, Jan Hicks Creates, pointed this one out years ago. This is from Cross Stitcher. This is the April 2019 issue. It is issue number 342. This is what it looks like. And this is what the one I am working on looks like. There are 3 in total, and I've already finished one of them. But let me show you where I got to on this. Stuff is just falling out. It's a lot more compact here than my normal filming spot upstairs. But just for old time's sake, we're going to film downstairs. Okay, so this is where I got to on Early Bird Bouquet. The cup is done except for the back stitching. The cup is all done. Isn't that pretty? I love that. And the bird is getting there. There's another layer that goes out so that you can see his belly. But the bird is getting there. And then I have all the flowers and the back stitching to do. And then this one will be done. So it's getting there. That cup is so fun. Oh, yeah, I have to, that's a little flower. I have to put the center in, but I just haven't pulled that color yet. So this is just stitched on, oh gosh, like a 32 count white Lugana, I think. It's something very simple. I don't know if I have the thing in here that says what it is stitched on. I do. It is stitched on 28 count antique white Lugana. So it was close. Oh my gosh, I need more sleep, I think. So that was Early Bird Bouquet. So that is very fun to see that progress. So after I finish that one, I have one more. This is on my Year of Whips, which is a year-long challenge run by Melanie Watkins. Sorry, Melanie. Of soulful stitching. So it is closed now, but I'm hoping that she will run it again next year because it's really fun. So you pick any number of whips. Minimum is 6, but you could pick more if you wanted. And the goal is to finish at least half of those by the end of the year. So Early Bird Bouquets is on my Year of Whips list to finish. And I said when I posted all my starting pictures, I said, this will be, there's 3 parts, but 3 individual charts, but I'm not considering it a finish until all 3 parts are finished. So, because I want to finish the whole thing this year. So, that's Early Bird. Next up, we have Spring Quakers, which looks like this. This is artwork by Janet Stever. It is charted by Pain Free Crafts. I'm stitching it on a 32 count, just white Lugana, and I'm just right up here in the first box. This is my Sunday piece, and oh my gosh, the cat hair on this is embarrassing. Okay, so I got 330 stitches done on this one, and I'm now at 1.44% done on this one. So I did work a lot in here. I found the color I was missing, so I put that in over here. So I kind of did a lot of fill-in over here and then kind of started to carry it down. I'm trying to see what else I worked at. Yeah, I mean, this flower is completely done, and then you can see the start of another flower, and then like I kind of worked over here to carry this down in that box. So you can really see it starting to come together. So that is Spring Montage, which is my seasonal Sunday piece. I work on it on Sundays. Okay. Next up is my new 25/7 piece, which is a group also run by Melanie Watkins. And it is open anytime. The Facebook group is just cross stitch 25/7, and the idea is that you stitch on a piece 25 minutes or 25 stitches. The idea is that you're doing a little bit of stitching every day, which is not normally a problem for me. But I like to have a piece that I dedicate to 25/7. So my 25/7 piece for May is StitchCon 2022. This is from StitchCon last year, designed by Sue Hillis for the retreat. And I am following Candy, the 614 stitcher. I am following her lead on this, where she said she would like to finish it before this year's StitchCon, which I think is a great idea, even though I'm not going to StitchCon this year, but I would like to get it done by then. So my goal is to finish it this month. So I got the scroll rod done. I put my initials in and filled in the back stitching, and I got the word sharing done. So I just pulled this out on the 1st of May, and I've just been working on it like 25 minutes a day. So that's what I have done on that already. This is 310, the cat. It is actually stitched in 3371. He does look black on here, but I might pull it out and put him in as 310 because his name is literally 310. So I don't know. I think that's what he stitched in. I have to know now. Yeah, 3371 is what he stitched in. So there's a couple needles and back stitching that I have to do and all that, but I mean, there's still quite a bit of work to do on this one. But I'll be taking this one with me on my trip, so hopefully I'll be able to get some good work on that done. Then, last but not least, I spent some time working on Summer Quakers. Speaking of pressing, I meant to press this for you before I showed it. I was all... and then I realized that I'm filming downstairs, so I didn't even go upstairs where my pressing is. But anyway, this is Summer Quakers by Rosewood Manor. This is what it will look like. My goal is to finish it this year. I am very, very close. I finished this motif here. I put in this motif. All this, I'll show it to you. And I'm working on this last motif, and then I am going to do the alphabet, I think. Okay. So this is, I'll show you the whole thing and then we'll do a close-up. Okay, so this is where we're at. See, I didn't press it for you. Sorry. This is where we're at. We are very, very close to being done. So let me show you what we got done this week. Okay, so we finished this big, huge motif. I can't remember exactly what all I did, but I finished down here. We put in these little floating flowers. We did this motif. I don't know if that was done. Did this motif and these floating flowers. And then I went over here to the edge here, and I put in this flower here, this motif. There's a sweet little butterfly and some floating flowers. And then I moved to the center. I don't know. I just kind of did this in a strange way, but and I started on this last huge motif. So that is what I got done. So when I pull this out next, which will be maybe later this month, or maybe not till June. Maybe I'll finish it in June. I need to finish this motif and then do the alphabet. I keep saying I want to finish this in the first half of the year, which would be in June. So, and I think I do have some space in June, like to dedicate to this, because I do want to finish it, because then I want to finish Winter Quakers this year, and I have a lot more to do on Winter Quakers. But we are very, very close to getting a finish on this one. So one more motif and the alphabet, and I think there's some numbers. And those are all done in Algerian. The alphabet is all done in Algerian eyelets. So that should go pretty fast. And this one, Summer Quakers counted for my Magazine Monthly Challenge acrostic. Whoops, I bumped you. Which is the acrostic. Well, the theme this month is Arctic, and the acrostic is Borealis. And so this counted for the R and the S, R for Rosewood Manor and S for Summer Quakers. So those are done. Those are my whips that I worked on this week. Haul, I just have the tiniest bit of haul. I got my Cottage Garden threads Thread of the Month Club from Garan. This is my last one. I did cancel just because I have so many threads now that I need to use. So um, they are blues, which is a great, or kind of turquoise. This is my favorite one, I think. This is blue cypress. It's kind of like blue gray almost, maybe some green in there. Murray pine. I guess this one is more green. Anonymous. This is very turquoise. Lyrebird walk. Green and blue. And dark yew. Really pretty green. And then, so I got that in the mail. And then I also got, just some DMC and some overdyed for Trust the Universe, which I'm starting for a mental health care May, which is run by Candy from the 614 Stitcher. I'm going to start that at Stitching in the Wild when I go to that. That's all I have for haul. And then plans. So until I leave, so I'll be leaving at the end of this week because I am going to my niece's graduation. So that will be fun. So I'll be with my family for 3 or 4 days, and then I'm going straight there to Stitching in the Wild. So I won't be able to film for the next 2 weeks, but when we come back in 2 weeks, I will have a great video covering Stitching in the Wild. So that will be fun. So no videos for the next 2 weeks. And I will miss you, but I'm so excited to meet so many of you at Stitching in the Wild. Until I leave, I plan to continue working on StitchCon 2022. I'm going to work on Spring Montage twice because I am not taking that one on my trip because it's very confetti heavy and it's just not a good travel piece for me. So I will be working on that 2 days before I leave, and then 2 days, I think, when I get back to meet, because there are 4 Sundays this month. So that will essentially get my 4 days in. And then I will be working on Early Bird Bouquets 3 days before I leave to hopefully make some good progress on that. And that's all I have for you. Another really short video, but I need to get this uploading and get myself ready to leave for graduation. So I hope you all have a lovely couple of weeks, and I will see you when I return if I don't see you at Stitching in the Wild. Bye.